students, today we will take the first chapter of 6th standard SS, chapter number 1 from history, what, how and when. First we move to the introduction part. Here in this chapter, the chapter deals with history. Now what is history? First of all we will understand. History is the study of the past. Now here, what is past? Past means the events already occurred, or we can say happened in earlier. So whatever the incidents happened in earlier, that we consider as past, or we can say history also. Let us move for some examples so you can better understand. Here the chapter deals about what, how and when. So we can take some of the examples under what, that is food, house and transportation. Now here how, that means how it deals with food. If we see the first, that is raw. Why I term raw? Because in early ages we can say that nomad people or the hunter-gatherers, those who have no fixed place, they are moving from one place to another place, they ate food raw because they don't know how to cook the food. Okay. In house part we can see that they lived in caves, rock shelters, they made the house of grass, straws, bamboos. If we go for transportation, they move by their foot only from one place to another place. If we move towards the food cooked, that means at the passage of time, these people understand how to cook the food. Okay, here we can see they know how to make the house made up of bricks and cement. In transportation we can see after the invention of wheel, they use carts to move from one place to another place, and later on in motor cars. So with the help of this chart, what we understood that with the passage of time, the things change. That means there is a development in everything. So it is very necessary to understand the history or past, because every incident even have their own past or history that is linked with the present and the future. The next point is why we need to study history. That means why the history is so much important to understand. Because history gives us the chance to know the early human's lifestyle, custom, tradition, etc. Also it keeps the record of people, events, places that is arranged in chronological order. Now what is chronological order? You can see here the events mentioned in a sequence, or we can say in a order that is made by chronological order. For example, we can say what happened the first, what went on the next, and so on. So by understanding this, we can say that the things why happened, where happened, how happened, all these things we can understand by studying the history. History gives us the knowledge about the events, their causes. For example, we can see the study of growth and development of different societies, role of our leaders in our freedom struggle. For example, we can take Mahatma Gandhi ji, Rani Lakshmibai, why they behaved like that at that time. All these we can understand by studying the history. Touches us in some or other way. For example, if we want to know our roots, our festivals, our cultures, we must study the history. If we study the history, we can get the answers of all. Now the next point we discuss, that is how do we study history? That means if we want to study history, we must need some materials like books, evidences, or we can say proof, or from some remains of past. If we get all these, then only we can study the history. Now, a person who study all, that known as historians. The scholars who study the past and write about them, they are known as historians. Here, scholar means a well-educated person in a particular field. A well-educated person in a particular field means the person having a full knowledge about history, or we can say past. Now, for better understanding, the historians divided history into two forms, that is prehistory and history. Already we understand that historians are the scholars who study the past and write about the history. Okay, so here for better understanding, historian has divided the history into two parts, that is prehistory and history. So first of all we take the prehistory. What is written here? The prehistory was the period when the writing was not invented. Okay, that means you can't get any written proof from this period. The nomad people, also we can say the hunter and gatherers, were the people those who lived at that time. They were not fixed in a place. They are wandering from one forest to another forest in search of food and water. Next, for shelter we can say they don't know how to make home. Okay, so they lived in caves, rock shelters. And for communication, they don't know. At that time the writing was not invented and they don't know how to communicate. So they communicate with the help of sounds, symbols, or we can say gestures, drawing on the walls like pictures and all. Okay, so this way they are communicating. And then we can say that no written documents we can find from that period, only archaeological sources we can find. Yes, now if we talk about history period was the period where after the invention of writing. Okay, yes. Now here if we could say that we already understood that prehistory is the period when the writing was not invented. The people of those time were communicating with the help of pictures, symbol and all. Yes, so later on these pictures converted into symbols, and then with the passage of time the symbols then converted into alphabets with their sound. This way the writing was invented. So here in the history era we can get both the sources, like both the evidence, we can say archaeological sources and literary sources. Now the next point is sources of history. Now what is sources of history? The historians, we understood that they are finding the past, that means they are studying the past and then they are writing about them. So sources means evidences or proof. There are different materials which is used by the historians to study the history, that is called sources. So here we study the sources defined into two forms, that is two part, archaeological sources, literary sources. Now in archaeological we can take some examples like monuments, caves, jewelry, etc. And for literary we can take some examples like manuscript, inscriptions, journals, etc. Now what is the use of these sources? These sources help us to understand the era where no written records are available. Okay. Now historians also find helpful with the help of these sources to verify the information written in records. So here the next what we understand, that is what is archaeology. Now what is the definition of archaeology? Archaeology means it's a study of past by looking for the remains and the object left by the early humans. Yes, archaeology is a study of the past. Whatever the objects and remains which is left by the early humans long ago, it is found and then studied by the archaeologist. So the archaeologist is the person who is finding these remains. Okay, and historians were the person those who study these remains and write about them. Now we come to the literary sources. Now what is literary sources? Whatever the data or whatever the information we can say, it is received in a written format, that is known as literary sources, which describes the nature of the society of ancient time. We already taken the example like manuscripts, inscription and journals. Okay, we already studied the sources. Okay, and the sources were divided into archaeological and literary. Now here first we go with the archaeological sources. Archaeological sources, we take the first monuments. Now monuments are what? Actually the buildings, these have the historical importance. For example, we can take forts, palaces, temples or tombs built by the different rulers. Here the Red Fort in Delhi, the Brihadeshwara temple in Tanjore, or we can say Taj Mahal in Agra. These all have the historical background. So to understand the history or the past, it is very important. With the help of these monuments, we can understand in which era it is built and what type of architecture and the construction format it is used. Now we go to the next, that is object. What is object? Here in object you can see tools, weapons, pottery, ornaments, seals, paintings and coins. These were included. Now tools, if we think about tools, the different tools in ancient time, the early humans, the people were used to do the agriculture. Okay, so by the tools we can understand what type of tools they were used and what is made up of, from which. And if we say about weapons they are using for hunting. Okay, now if we go to the pottery at that time, actually it is used for collecting the water or storing the excess grains. Ornaments, what type of they are using? Previously it is made up of beads. Seals were used as sources because from seal we can understand that which king issued these type of seals in which period. So with the help of that seal, at that time the trade or the business is done. Next, paintings and coins. These all are the objects which gives lots of information about the history, and it helps to reconstruct the history. Reconstruct means to form again which is already destroyed. Also the human skulls and fossils of animals helped to reconstruct the history. Human skulls from the burial sites. Burial sites means at that time when the people were died, they were kept buried under the land. So by the human skulls and the fossils of animals. Okay, so from this also we can get lots of information to reconstruct the past. Here we already understood the two sources, which like monuments and objects. Now we will discuss the third, that is inscription. What is inscription? Inscription is the writings and the text carved on the solid objects. Okay, inscription means the writings and the text carved on the solid objects like pillars, walls of temples, forts, caves, palaces, stone or copper tablets. Okay, in the ancient time, these objects, solid objects, on that the texts were carved by the people, and in that it provides the valuable information. What type of information we will get from that writings and text? We can know about the rulers of that time who ruled, the dates or the period of that era, the extent of their empires. Extent means which ruler ruled over which location, or we can say up to which place. Okay, all these are the important events also we can understand from this writings and text. So this way we can have a lot of information we will get from the inscription, and you can see the example of inscription in the textbook also, because in that page it is one example is given how the inscription is looked. Here the study of inscription is known as epigraphy. Okay, here the study of inscription is known as epigraphy. Apart from inscription, edicts also mentioned. What are edicts? Edicts are actually royal commands of the rulers. Whatever the new rules or regulation is regulated or decided by the king or the ruler, then they will do the edicts of these commands, that with the help of that the people come to know about the rules and any of the policies or information which is delivered by the king. Now we move to the next, that is coins. Coins also have a lot of information which provides us to understand the past. The study of coins is known as numismatics, and the coins at that time were made up of gold, silver, copper and lead. Here from the coins what we can understand or what we can get the details, like image of the ruler, that also we can see in that coins, the period of that era, whatever they ruled, so etc. All these are the details or information the archaeologists or the historians get from the coins. Now we will discuss the last archaeological source, that is burial site. Burial site is also known as graveyard or cemetery. Okay, now it is a ground, where the dead bodies are buried, especially an ancient place. So it also provides lots of information to the historians, because it provides the information majorly we can get of early historic period. Why early historic period? Because we already studied in prehistory there the no written records were available, only archaeological proof were available. So this burial site is also comes under archaeological sources. So here the historians can easily find out the historic period evidence with the help of this burial site. Okay, they found here burial urns and the clay urns. Now what are burial urns and clay urns? Burial urns, actually the urns are earthen pots. Okay, it is in the form of earthen pots. Burial urns, it is said because especially the pots having the collection of ashes of the cremated person, that is why it is known as burial urn. And other clay urns, they get the traces of grains. From that they can understand these urns were used to keep or to store the grains also. Some other pots also they got, different types of pots they got, in that they saw there is a traces of different type of bones, teeth. From that they can easily understand which type of people at that time were existed. Also they got some of the information of migration. That means early ages might be these people first lived in the hilly region and then they shifted from hilly region to the banks of river. So both the area or both the side they got same type of burial and clay urns.